All right, I'm back with another client success interview. Today, joining me is another longtime client. We've been working together since halfway through 2021, I believe, so more than a year now. His name is Kyle Sulerud. He's the founder and CEO of AdLeg, which, in my opinion, is the #1 YouTube ads agency in the world. Not just because they work with me as a client, but because they actually get results that would qualify them to be a #1 YouTube ads agency in the world. Welcome, Kyle.
Thanks, man. Thanks, Nabil.
For those who don't know you, who haven't heard of you, please introduce yourself and your agency, AdLeg.
I think you did a pretty good job. We definitely like to believe that we are the #1 agency in the world. That's one of our core values here, is that we are the best. And whether that can be measured or quantified or whatever is kind of beside the point. What it means to us is we're always striving to be the best. We're not satisfied ever, because if we're not trying to beat ourselves and improve on what we're doing, then someone else might come along and do that. So we're obsessed with YouTube ads. We're obsessed with getting our clients results, just like you are. And it's been a fun ride for sure.
Likewise, it has been a fun ride writing your emails as well. Did you work with copywriters before you started working with us? I know you have copywriters inside your agency writing your scripts and your webinars and things like that for clients, but have you worked with copywriters for the AdLeg marketing?
No, many years ago when I was first starting, I might have hired some copywriters off of Fiverr, but I don't think that copy lasted too long before I kind of just wrote something myself. So yeah, we had never worked with a copywriter for a sales page or for emails or anything like that.
And how did we start working together?
So I found out that you were writing emails for Mike Mark. Honestly, I don't even remember how I came across Mike or got on his list, but I ended up working with him directly, figured out you were writing his emails, and just thought it was a good fit because Mike and I have the same target customer. Basically, we offer different things, but to the same people. So I figured you already knew the customer, which was great. And then the emails you were putting out were great. So I was, by the time I was talking to you, it was just like a take my money type of thing. Like I was ready to go.
So tell me, before we started working together, what was AdLeg doing for email marketing and what sort of results were you getting from your emails?
So I had some lead magnets out there. I knew I needed to be building an email list, which I had done a fairly good job at. I think I had like 3,000 or 4,000 people on the list when you started working with me, but we weren't really utilizing it very well. For the most part, all I was doing was when I would publish a new YouTube video, I would email my list and say, hey, go watch this YouTube video. It was written a little better than that, but it was basically only sending people to my YouTube videos. My YouTube videos would then have a call to action to like work with me or to apply to be a client. But I was doing very little in terms of sending an email that would try to get people to be a client just right from the email. Just kind of once in a while, I might send something like that out if the inspiration struck or if something was going on that was like super relevant in the news or something. But I'd had no strategy and no consistency behind it.
Let's talk about your YouTube channel for a second because it crushes, if I'm not mistaken. It's tiny but mighty. How many clients do you get from your YouTube channel?
Yeah, so we get a lot. So about 30% of our revenue as an agency is from people who found my YouTube channel.
And this is not YouTube ads. This is organic, you publishing content every single week on YouTube.
Yep, just organic YouTube stuff about YouTube ads, stuff about other marketing stuff. I've interviewed some people. I've interviewed you on my YouTube channel, of course, just talking about email. So just try to provide value in different ways, either to people trying to learn YouTube ads, because that's what gets a lot of attention on the agency, or value to like potential clients or to actual clients of things outside of YouTube ads that would help them grow their business.
I just looked up your channel right now. You have 8,000 subscribers. And you said 30% of your revenue has come from videos that you've published on the channel.
Yeah, possibly more. So like as of now, it's 30% because we track every month what percentage of our revenue came from where. So over time, it's probably been more than that. But yeah, it's been a lot. It's been like close to $1 million probably has come from the YouTube channel.
Your channel is like one of the reasons why I decided to go all in on YouTube content. I started this month. I was hoping to publish a lot more, but like 2023, I'm just going to go ham on YouTube.
The basic strategy I took to get started was I outlined a book, and then the plan was to make a YouTube video. Each video would kind of be a chapter of the book, which was a great strategy. Once that was all done, I decided not to publish the book, but the byproduct of doing it that way, I think, was great. I was able to get a lot of good content out, and it's done well.
That's a good idea. I should probably do that. That's a great idea.
The
Go ahead.
problem with
You
a
were gonna
book
say
about
something.
YouTube ads is always changing. So decided not to try to lock any strategies down into a book.
So then we started working together, and on top of your emails promoting your YouTube content, which you guys were doing internally, we started sending book a call emails for you. We started off with 3 a week, and then we slowed it down to once a week. But that's essentially what we were doing. So what sort of results were you able to get after we started sending those book a call emails for you?
Well, we booked a lot of calls. So it was like every time an email went out, there were multiple people booking a call. And it was surprising at first because it was like, okay, these people are on my list probably because they saw my YouTube video and opted in for a lead magnet or something. So like they should already know that I run an agency and that I can help run their YouTube ads. But obviously, as I've learned, and as you probably already know, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if someone already knows what you do. They need a constant reminder. So once it's time for them to solve their problem and then finally get serious about it, okay, here's an email from Kyle and he says he can solve this problem. Let me book a call and see what he has to offer. So yeah, we were getting calls, sometimes like 5 or 6 calls booked just from one email. And of course it varied. Sometimes it was only one, sometimes it was 3, but it was like every time an email went out, there were more calls that were getting booked.
And we were checking the numbers before we started this interview, and I believe we're booking 20% of the calls. 20% of the calls are coming from email. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, so we're like 20% of the total calls that AdLeg books are from an email that you've written. So some people come directly from a YouTube video to book a call. Some people come from a different lead magnet or wherever else. But yeah, 20% are people who basically didn't book a call until they got one of your emails, which doesn't happen right away. Like they're already on the list by the time they see your email.
It might seem like that percentage is a little bit low, but actually it should be low, because that means your lead sources are diversified. I mean, I'm in your Slack, I can see the sources of all the apps that come in, and you've got apps from the YouTube channel, you've got apps from your lead magnets on your website, you've got apps from ads that you run. So you guys are pretty diversified in the sources of your sales calls. And so that's good for you because you're not reliant on one particular marketing channel.
Yep.
The other thing that I wanted to mention was that your list is pretty small, right? I think when we started emailing, there was about like 3,000-ish people, or a little over 3,000, right?
So I have segmented a little. So there's about 7,000 on the list right now, but if someone's inactive, we don't send emails very often. So we have 4,000 who are active, meaning they've opened an email or they've gone to my website. So we track all those types of things. And as long as they've done something like that within, I think it's 45 days, then they're considered active. So they are regularly getting emails. And then there's like another 3,000 or so that are inactive that rarely get emails. Whenever we include those, the open rate's way down just because they've been inactive for however long anyway. But once in a while, they'll come back. they'll come back from the dark side over to the light side and become active again. So we don't totally give up on them.
And like any service provider or agency owner, like 99% of the subscribers are media buyers or copywriters trying to steal your secrets.
Yeah, definitely a lot of media buyers, which is actually good because I do my hiring from my email list too. So definitely a lot of people who would never be a client. It's not like if you're selling a high ticket coaching program or something, pretty much anybody on your list is a potential client. Anyone who says, okay, I'll give you $10,000 to help me with a problem. If someone's serious, you're going to try to help anyone with that problem and take their money. With us, we have much higher criteria for who we would even work with. So yeah, take all the media buyers on the list, get rid of them, take all the people who don't even have an offer to advertise with YouTube, get rid of them. The actual number of potential clients on my list is obviously going to be much smaller.
The other thing that I wanted to bring up was Frank Kern is on your list, and Frank Kern likes your emails.
Yeah, he does. So that was cool. He ended up on my list through my YouTube channel. He apparently liked my YouTube videos. And yeah, I don't remember exactly how I figured out he was on my list, but at one point he replied to an email that you had written. He said, "Hey, that was a great email." And then he actually wrote me an email. He's like, "Hey, that was a great email. Here, try this one." And then he like wrote me an email. I sent that out, and that of course did really well too. But yeah, he's on my list, and he replies here and there. He still replies here and there, like, "Hey, that was a great email." Or like once in a while, if he doesn't like an email, he'll be like, here's another email. He's done that a couple times. Be like, "Here, try sending this one out." It's actually been like the times he's done that where I could tell like he didn't approve of the email wasn't one that you wrote. It was one that I was trying to write myself. So that might be telling of how I should just leave this in the hands of a professional email writer. But yeah, that's been pretty cool to be able to hold the attention of someone like that. He's still on the email list, still reads the emails. So obviously the emails have been engaging, and even though he's not a client, he's still reading the emails.
I turned that into an internal KPI actually. Emails have to be, will Frank Kern reply to this email? That's the level of quality that we're going for. And we're trying to hit that every single email. Obviously, it's impossible. And, Frank might be busy or he might not be in the mood for replying, but that's the level of quality that we're going for. Is this email Frank Kern reply worthy?
That's a great metric. And I've even, you've written not many, but you've written a couple of emails where I kind of had that in my mind too. I was like, man, I don't think Frank's really going to think this is a good email. So I let you know, and you like redid it or did a brand new one. So yeah, that it's been a good metric. It's been good to keep in mind that I just want to make sure the caliber of every email that goes out is going to not cause somebody to give me the boot. Obviously, people unsubscribe every time you send an email. But if it's a quality person who has the problem that I can solve, who likes marketing and likes a good email, I want to make sure those people stick around and I don't turn them off somehow.
And that's actually one of the reasons why I enjoy working with you, is because you would actually tell me, hey, man, I'm not feeling this email. I don't think it's as valuable as it could be. Is there a way that we could redo it or, come up with a different idea? And I appreciate that. And also sometimes what you'll do is you'll sprinkle some of your own magic fairy dust onto some of our emails, and the email becomes like 10 times better because you have that personal experience with what you do and the expertise. And so like those little small tiny additions that you do, it just takes the email to another level. And while on the topic of Frank Kern, sometimes we'll send an email and I see the replies come in because I have access to the reply inbox, where some random person will email you and be like, this email sucks and I'm unsubscribing. And then Frank Kern replies as well. And this has happened more than once, I think. And Frank Kern replies is like, yo, this is an amazing email. At that point, you're like, maybe I don't pay attention to the haters anymore.
Yeah, you can never pay attention to the haters.
I didn't mention this in the pre-call, but what is that shiny thing behind you on your shelf?
That's my world championship CEO belt.
Is it close enough to you that you can grab it and show it to the camera?
I don't think the camera is going to pick it up too well, but
so I send this to every client that works with me for more than a year. So you have one, Mike Mark has one, and Joel Irway has one. And you're the only 3 clients who have this belt.
Yeah, that was cool. So if you didn't see it in the video, it has my pretty face on it, and then it says World Champion CEO. So that was fun to get it in the mail one day from Nabil from across the world.
Before we started working together, I know you pretty much came pre-sold as sort of like a soft referral from Mike Mark, but were there any hesitations that you had before deciding to work with copywriters or an email marketing agency to handle your emails?
I don't think so. I had already was at the point where I knew like voice doesn't really exist. I wasn't worried that you could capture my voice or whatever, because I didn't really have a voice. And even if I did, it's just not a factor. That's probably the biggest hesitation most people have. And earlier on in my career, I might have had that thought, but by the time I came to you, I just knew like, okay, whatever Nabil writes, like that's going to be my voice. I know it's not going to be factually inaccurate or something I would never say. So with that in mind, it means whatever is said is something I would actually say and how I would say it. I don't think I had any other hesitations. I was just ready to go, ready to like hear how I would sound if it wasn't me actually writing it. And the results of that I've been obviously very happy with.
That's a great point, and I'm so glad you brought that up. That's one of the biggest hesitations that a lot of clients will have before working with copywriters is, can they write in my voice? Not knowing that they have the personality of unsalted white rice. And so they have no voice and they have no tone. It's like they have the same ideas. It's like if you've written for one woo-woo spirituality coach, you've written for them all because they all sound the same. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So with that said, what has been your overall experience working with me and working with Dropkick Copy?
Overall has been great. Obviously, not only do we track applications and customers that came after we sent one of your emails, but we know even if someone didn't come directly from one email and click that email and fill out our form, we know they're still reading the emails and it keeps them engaged. And yeah, you've been great to work with for reasons we've discussed. Like, you don't take it personally if I have a problem with an email, but usually that's not I don't have to spend much time telling you this isn't a good email, because usually we just go with everything exactly how you write it. It happens like clockwork. The only thing that sucks is like I need to do more lead generation so that I have more people on my list to send these emails to, because the rate of people applying with my agency versus the rate of new people coming onto my list has started, there's an imbalance there. So naturally over time, let's say, I don't know what the number is, but let's say 1% of people on the list apply from an email. Well, if I'm only adding 100 people to the list in a month, then that makes the stats look bad on the application side of things, even though it has nothing to do with the emails that are being sent. So that's what's good and bad, is that it forces me to grow the list. So there's a constantly bigger pool of people who will see these emails and be able to take action on them. That's why we've slowed from 3 emails a week to 1 email a week, like you mentioned earlier, just because of the diminishing returns on my end of not having a big enough list to go after.
It's like you're fishing, so you have to replenish the fish. You can't just keep fishing in the same pool and there's no new fish being added and then expect to keep getting the same result. So that's a good point.
So the people getting 1 email a week now are like people who've been on my list for a long time. Because the other thing we've done is we've taken all of the emails that you've written and put them into a sequence for new subscribers. So I think it's like a 6-month sequence of 2 emails a week at this point. So if someone's new to my list, they get a lead magnet, they get the new weekly emails that you've been writing, but then they also get like another 2 emails that are in a sequence. So they're still getting 3 or 4 emails a week for like 6 months, just because of the work that's been done up to this point.
And those emails are still booking calls. I can see those applications come in Slack.
Yeah, exactly.
And those are emails that we wrote like a year ago, some of them, and they're still booking calls to this day.
Yeah, even like we even changed our offer. So we used to not charge clients until their YouTube ads were profitable. We changed that partway through 2022 to where just to simplify everything. So we're charging a retainer now. And we were able to reuse almost all the emails because they didn't lean so heavily into the offer. It was more of just, I think, just digging into the problem. I don't know how you would classify it, but it wasn't like we had to scrap all those emails just because we had a brand new offer. We could just amend a couple sentences of the email to reflect the new offer, which was very helpful.
And then you enjoy working with us so much that you hired us to write for your other agencies as well.
Yeah, once you see the power of email marketing, it's just like, okay, now I've invested in another agency over here. I've started a different agency over here. I want to plug this magic into all these places so that we're, with what you charge for emails, it's like a no-brainer. Like we don't need too many clients to pay for that. So it's just something now that we kind of try to get going from day one. If I'm getting involved with a new agency or starting a new agency, which I did a few times over the last year, I'm trying to cool down and focus on what I currently have going on. But yeah, these last few agencies that I'm working with are all getting your help also.
And so, last question, what is your advice to agency founders or agency owners who are neglecting email marketing as a channel for booking calls?
I don't think I'm the first person you've heard say that you need an email list. So that's like step one is you just need to do something, do what you can to get an email list. I knew that probably 7 years ago. And in the first year, I maybe had 100 some people on my list, but I did something, right? I was at least doing something so that once I figured out how to do it better and how to do lead generation better, then I was able to grow the list bigger and bigger. So that's step one. If you're an agency owner, figure out what you can do to get people on an email list. And then once you have them there, there's a lot more you can do than just promote your YouTube videos or whatever else you're trying to promote. There's a lot more you can do than just try to promote free content. Plus, I think a lot of emails from agencies are just garbage. They're like not interesting. They're not entertaining to read. It's just like straight pitch promotion. I'm sure you've talked about that in the BL. We don't really need to get into that, but what's great about emails from you is that they have personality, interesting to read. People will continue reading them, even if they don't think they'll ever be one of my clients, just because it's not the typical email that comes through your inbox. It's not corporate in any way. It's actually a fun email to receive and to read. So once you have your list and once you start emailing them, that's the direction I would go, is make them interesting, make your emails interesting, and just get them out. Figure it out along the way. Do what you need to do to figure it out.
And if you don't know how to make the emails interesting, give Dropkick Copy a call.
Absolutely.
Kyle, thank you for your time. It's a pleasure working with you, and I hope to continue working with you for a very long time.
Sounds good, man. Thanks for having me on. Hopefully this helps you get some more clients because you definitely deserve it. You're definitely someone that I want to continue to see grow your own business and succeed at this as best you can because you've put in the work. You understand how it all works, and you're definitely, obviously, getting results for people, myself, and clients of mine that we've referred to you. Also, we see what you're doing for them, and it's just everything you're doing, we stand behind, and it's been great.
Thank you, Kyle. I appreciate that. All right, that's all for our client success interview for today. Stay tuned, and I'll be back with another one, hopefully soon.